Hello, everyone. Welcome to Durrett's Take on a Wonderful Thursday here. Let's get started. I want to talk about different subjects today. The first subject I'm going to talk about has to do with baseball. And don't get used to me talking about baseball a lot because I don't like baseball. I feel like it's boring. Now, it's fun to go to the games, in my opinion, but just to watch, it's just kind of boring to me. But that's a totally different debate for another different time. But what I do want to talk about as far as baseball goes is that Tampa Bay Rays player Blake Snell basically came out a couple of days ago. He said that if they have to play on a reduced salary because the MLB season is going to be shortened because of the coronavirus, then he doesn't want to play at all because he doesn't want to get affected and not get as much money as he's supposed to be getting. He signed a 5-year, $50 million contract, and then notable player from the Phillies, Bryce Harper, agrees. So, but before I share what I think about this comment, I want to paint a picture here. So keep in mind that what I'm about to say does not apply to me whatsoever. I'm not sharing a personal example. I'm just making up an example. So let's say that you have a cousin that you're not fond of, or you don't really care about, or you don't like that, or you don't like that well. Well, if you just think those thoughts but don't do anything about it, that's okay. But if you tell the cousin or tell a bunch of family members, yeah, I don't like him, then that's gonna create some drama there, and you're gonna and it looks like you're gonna be the bad guy or the rude guy or the selfish guy or however you want to put it. You're not gonna be in the right um, you're not gonna be in the right mode there, whether you have a valid point or not. So now to compare that with what Snell just said. So what he's saying is I agree with I agree with one of the points he said, like, um, I don't want to play because I don't want to risk any coronavirus. Like that's a valid point. Even if MLB comes back and says, yeah, it's clear, depending on the states and stuff like that. If you don't feel like it's safe enough, then you shouldn't have to play. That's totally fine. I understand you in that regard. I have no problem with what he said there. But what I do have a problem with him saying is that he said he either wants all of his money or none of it, despite the shortened season. He doesn't want to play on a reduced salary. Well, what he doesn't realize is that there's been a lot of people during this pandemic that have lost jobs and have suffered financially because of this pandemic, and he's one of the few people that was fortunate enough to be able to play in the MLB and make a bunch of money. Therefore, he shouldn't have to demand, oh, I got to play for all my money or nothing. That's just ridiculous. I wish I could. I would play for $1 million to play in a major sports league. That's something I would want to do. So the fact that he gets a 5-year, $50 million contract, he's like, yeah, you got to pay me all of it, no reduced salary for this season. That's just dumb. And what's interesting is that um, there's been a bunch of like NBA players, for example, that has donated to the coronavirus relief, like Giannis, Blake Griffin, Kevin Love, recently Mike Conley, and they're donating hundreds of thousands of dollars for the coronavirus. So they look like the good guys. Well, Snell does not look like a good guy now. So if I were any other MLB player that's thinking along the same lines as Blake Snell is, I would keep quiet to yourself because you don't want to look like the bad guy like Blake Snell and Bryce Harper basically just did. I would try to avoid it if I were you. So moving on to a different topic. So recently the NBA has come out and said that they're going to keep the same lottery format that they had last year. So each of the top 3 teams have the same percentage chance of winning the number 1 overall pick. Some people like this new philosophy, and some people don't. For me, I'm one of the people that like the philosophy, and here are a couple reasons why. Reason number 1 is just look at the past examples of what's happened in the draft. So there's been times where the Philadelphia 76ers had the worst record in the league, and then there's the Lakers who had one of the worst records in the league. But the Lakers is a storied franchise, if you will. But let's say Philly gets the 3rd pick and the Lakers end up getting the 2nd pick or something. So Lakers get ahead of them. And it has kind of a bad perception whenever a history franchise like the Lakers or the Celtics get a higher pick than a team that was more deserving of it. So that way, in this case, Three teams get equal percent chance, whether they're a storied franchise or not. It's not going to matter because they all have the same percent chance. So therefore, there's no favoritism there, or it doesn't feel like the storied franchise just gets too much luck. So another reason why is you can avoid teams or dynasties having one bad off year and get a great draft pick, and then they're going to be elite for a while. So, for example, back when David Robinson for the Spurs got injured, Tim Duncan was their number one overall pick, and they just went right back to being a championship contender again. Same thing with the Golden State Warriors now. So this was their off season because they had a bunch of injuries and stuff, but they're going to go right back to being good next year. So it kind of stink for the league if they got the number one overall pick. So in this case, at least the Cavs and the Timberwolves each have a chance to get the number one pick. And for the Cavs, they especially need the number one pick because their organization is so horrible that they need anything to kind of inject some life into Cleveland. Because Minnesota, at least they have D'Angelo Russell and Karl Anthony Towns. So if they don't get the number one pick, they'll be just fine. But Cleveland definitely needs it. So it'd be a shame if Golden State were to have it versus Cleveland. So there's a couple reasons there, just right there alone, why I feel like that the format right now should stay the same. And personally, I feel like the NFL should adopt the format as well, because at least try it out, because I feel like that would be interesting for the NFL. Because imagine, so the top three picks this year were Cincinnati, Washington, and Detroit. Well, imagine if Detroit ended up having the number one pick, so they would get Joe Burrow, and then Cincinnati, even though they fall number 3, since they need a quarterback, they can still get Tua or just most likely Tua. So therefore, they would still be fine at quarterback. Now, it doesn't work out like that to where there's a bunch of good quarterbacks that can go within the top 10, but that's an interesting concept to kind of think about there. So one more topic I want to talk about today is recently the college football has come out saying that like any Division I programs can start to hold voluntary workouts starting June 1st. So this is pretty good that this is happening. It's a step into the right direction it's of where we want to go, which is hopefully starting the season on time. Seeing news like this helps me get confidence that things are going to work out. Keep in mind again that the SEC is going to be meeting at the end of this week to discuss whether their school should get back to work or not for the next month or not. So keep in mind this is all developing as I'm talking about this, but let's just hope breaking news like this continues to develop and happen. So I'm gonna keep it a short show today. So that's pretty much it. But leave comments, and I encourage you guys to keep on sending me feedback on what you guys want me to talk about. Thank you very much, and you guys have a wonderful day today.